level up a few thousand degrees with a Lava Hot podcast and host Joseph Connell Jr. You'll hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, from tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers. This show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to lava hot. Get ready to burn this down.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lava Hot Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Connell, and today I have with me a longtime friend named Brian Propst. Brian is the owner of Mad Propst Production. I said that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No one needs a T at the end.
Yeah. Gotcha. He is also the creative director for Propst & Sons. Incredible artist, longtime friend. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So, Brian, it's good to see you. You know,
likewise.
You know, it's so weird what has occurred since I launched this podcast. I've had support from a lot of people that I knew from the past, which has been really cool. A lot of friends that I haven't talked to in a long time. It opened up like a dialogue to like communicate, and I've loved it just because, you know, when you start having kids, 4 kids, you know, you kind of just get focused on all of that, and this has opened up, you know, a lot of old friendships, which is really cool. The other thing that I've seen is the support that comes from people you don't even know.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you've got a lot of diverse people that come on here. I mean, from the beginning, it's been something where, hey, like I said, I call you Joey. Joey's doing this new podcast thing, and look who he's got on there, you know? So.
Yeah, but no, I'm definitely happy to have you on here. You know, when I look back at the days when I lived in Pasadena, you know, you're one of the friends that I think about when I think about the childhood days. I remember when we first met, it was 4th grade, and I thought you were the greatest artist ever because I think you drew a picture of a car or something, and it was just so awesome. And then you've developed that skill so much over the years, and it's just been awesome to see, you know, the artwork that you've cranked out. So.
Well, you were a big part of the inspiration for most of the things I was drawing back then, so you know.
Oh, that's good. I mean,
the whole like skateboard, you know, lifestyle. We were, you know, I was a wankster. I was not an actual skateboard head, but you guys taught me how to do a little cherry bomb off the end of the shopping center, just hanging out doing, you know, hood rat stuff at you know, the Beefalo Bob's essentially parking lot.
No, that was Justin, you know. That when he was little, he was like 8 years old. He was
a wild kid, dude.
He could do so much. It was insane. But no, I remember the picture. It was Marvin the Martian. You drew a picture of Marvin the Martian. Yeah, I want to say it was in like my yearbook or something. But no, you know, that takes us way back. But, you know, that's where I want to start was kind of your background. You know, obviously I hit on you've always had this side of you that's been into art and creating things. And what I like and what I wanted to bring you onto the show for is that you grew that into, in essence, what is your livelihood, if you will.
Absolutely.
You know, I think a lot of people tend to have a dream or something that they like or love or enjoy, and they dabble in it still, but a lot of them will just fall off. They'll get the practical job, if you will, and they won't, you know, really go for the thing that they love or enjoy doing. So, you know, the fact that you took something that you love, that creativity, and put it into basically something that produces income is always cool to see.
Yeah, getting paid's fun.
Yeah. But what you know, as we progress in this conversation, you know, I want to go from like where you started and then incrementally to where you are now with, you know, the new age of, you know, digital NFTs, things like that. So
it is upon us. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely want to transition to that before long. But so walk me through the background.
Well, you know, you touched on it pretty well because, you know, like I said, the way that I started, you know, was that actual shopping center I just mentioned was, you know, where the storefront was, where our friends, you know, were hanging out because, you know, long story short, my parents had a business in there that's still there to this day. I still work there. I guess our best friends at the time were Beefalo Bob's, you know, there every day. We were getting some, you know, food every day. Yeah. We were hanging out in the backwoods, you know, goofing off. They had a comic book shop in the store. And so when you guys weren't there every day, pretty much all day, I'd lay on the floor at that comic book store. And that guy hated me. He he was very cool on like maybe like 25% of the time, but I was so annoying. And I look back now and I go, yeah, I wouldn't want a freaking kid laying on the floor if a customer comes in and they see this like bratty kid laying there with ballpoint pens and a stack of like white paper he brought from his dad's shop to draw next to his, favorite Spawn comic all day.
Right.
I'd want to kick him out too, but that's where it started for me. And
I was surprised he didn't start slinging reprints. Like, just
dude,
get you to work.
He tried to get me to he introduced me to this one dude and it kind of freaked me out. Like I was like, I feel like I'm being like lured into a van for free candy. Like it was really creepy.
Yeah.
So
we got free comics, kid.
He was like, yeah, I got this guy, he's got money. He's like, I want to talk to you, but I'm really serious though. And I'm like, okay, looking up, like, why do I feel like I got to cover my junk? It was uncomfortable. It was problematic.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's where it started. And, leading into, I guess, whatever I would doodle and draw, my biggest thing I recall from years and years and years of drawing is never having art class. All the years we went to a very much authoritarian, I would say strict school, and we didn't have much room for expression.
Beat there.
Yeah. When we get to the big reveal, I got for you something, that's gonna bring back some of those haunting nostalgic memories of what you're alluding to there.
Yeah.
But what I ended up doing was I took that, angst and all that crap that was built up. I mean, it built into this weird really expressive, cartoonish almost, but like graffiti, street art based kind of style. And then once I got to the level of high school, I had my first art class. And then that was where none of that had room for it. You don't draw from your head, you draw from life. And it was cool because I needed that. I really did. I crafted my graphical interface, essentially for the world, by observation after that point. And now I have a better tool set. Right. I pursued art from that point on. I ended up going to Maryland Institute College of Art after a very long, Van Wilder-esque experience in college. I started out trying to wrestle in college, not as anywhere near as prestigious as Nathan, your dude you had on here. He was the real deal. UPenn, Ivy League. Wrestling is for me, it was like a sport that I was doing since I was 5 years old. And what happened was I went to York College. At the time, I just thought it was cool if I could just, get out of, living underneath my parents' roof, have some fun. I'll be an art student as well as a wrestler,
Right.
It just became a little bit more of a party time for me. And I took that experience, fast forward, to the end of my college career where I stopped wrestling and focused way more on art. And that's where I discovered painting murals. I didn't realize everybody else wasn't already doing it too because it was just so easy and fun for me. But also at the same time, I realized that a big wall for me is something I like to tackle, accomplish, and It's working with somebody to get their vision on a wall, a kid's room, a lot of bars, restaurants, stuff like that.
You've done some bars over on this side of the bridge, right?
Yeah. On in Ocean City, I've developed a lot of relationships over the years, and I've got some really great clients that I've been working with actually in Ocean City. I've done things at Sky Bar, Abbey Burger, which is, by the way, one of my favorite places I've ever, sat down and had a freaking burger at. And by a burger, I would just count the hours until I could eat again and eat another burger that they had there.
That place is legit.
Yeah, dude, it's not there anymore. It's called something else now. But that was very good people there, and nod to the management there. Eric's always been somebody that's taken me with him any place he's gone with painting and stuff. So salute. R.I.P. Ocean City, Abbey Burger. But yeah, that's where it all became something where I'm actually painting to this day. Doing all kind of murals and such. So
yep. When I think of some of your artwork, the one that really sticks out, aside from the Marvin the Martian doodle that you gave me, I think I feel like you did one of Ray and one of Suggs, right?
Yeah, I did.
Two paintings.
I got a painting. The first one that got me some attention, which was really cool, was because I did it in the basement for a good family friend of mine, Ken Davis, and they were on there. It just was a zeitgeist of things at the time. I was at Micah. Micah knew when I graduated that I had done some things with Terrell Suggs. Oh,
that's true. You did a mural of the Ravens stadium.
Yeah, there's a Ravens stadium mural about Ray Lewis, and on one side it was a locker room, the other side was a big Ray's Last Dance kind of thing. Yeah. And the idea was that it was they were trying to get some artists and talk about the artists that were doing Ravens-centric artwork. And at the time I was really big into sports art. I loved it because it was right up my alley. Like I said, I came from athletics and I loved painting, so it worked.
Yeah.
And Ravens just happened to be, crushing it at the time.
Yeah.
So from there, Baltimore Sun got an interview. Ken and I were posing in his basement for pictures and everything, and they got out there, and I was getting a lot of calls for more sports stuff. So that's where that kind of like road kind of really definitely expanded from there. But even previous to that, I had done a lot of work with Terrell Suggs. There's these guys, Sports Star Designs. Jamie, he just reached out to me the other day. It's nostalgic thinking even back to like the little short-term stint we had there, because it was a hot market, man.
Right.
Ball So Hard University stuff was going on. And,
I remember that.
And I by no means took any, creative 100%, credit for it, but I got to put some creative beans in that mix, and it was hella fun. And I loved, dude, Sizzle's dope, dude. He's so freaking amazing. Everything he does is hilarious, like in its own little like snarky way. Sometimes I'll just walk into the room and it's like his personality, he's about to go off, but he's also really, chilling down to earth too. So
yeah,
I'm also terrified of he's gigantic.
yeah, he doesn't look little, that's for sure.
No.
He put that work in on Ben Roethlisberger, and he's no slouch either.
God can have his soul, but his ass belongs to me.
Suggs. I like Ray, but Suggs was always he was my player.
Yeah.
Well, him and Ed. Ed Reed.
Ed's awesome. I like how he got snubbed a lot for how weird he is, but that's like the thing that draws me to him even more. Yeah. Being weird.
Yeah. But no. So I told you I was going to share a story with you. So I know that you graduated from Mount St. Joe. That was a school that I went to for my 9th grade year before moving down to Ocean City. And when I look back, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I'm 100% certain that I made it into Mount St. Joe because of you. And here's why. When we were at Calvary, we were doing like the Maryland assessments, and you were sitting directly across from me, just like you are now. And I could not give a crap less about taking that assessment. So I literally just copied every answer right down the line. I just waited for you to draw a little circle, then I drew a circle. So, there's a saying that I heard once, it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
That's good. Actually, I haven't heard that.
It seems like I copied the right cat, because literally I swear it was the state assessment that got me into Mount St. Joe to begin with.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, well,
you served 1 year in that prison.
I guess I'll thank you and my aunt for paying the tuition. So,
right.
So that got me so far.
Yeah, but she's probably thanking me like, yeah, thanks, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So, no, I mean, it's cool to hit on some of the artwork. I remember seeing some of the portraits that you did. And I know you brought this for me.
I did.
I'm going to hold up. I don't.
The glare's that's a professional error on my part. I should have known there was going to be lighting issues here with that. But that is actually
so stoked about it.
That is relevant. Relevant. I need you to bust out that app that I got you to download. Yeah. So
because
there's two things that are going to happen. This is a copy of it. You can actually do this to that painting anywhere on the planet. But take that app. It's going to give you a little camera. Put that on there. Not the QR. The actual picture. So what's going to happen here? This is a little bit of what I do now with my digital art, and it has to do with the NFTs and the AR world, so augmented reality. And you're going to see once it connects to the actual picture, it'll do a little red dot and it'll circle. So if it's saying,
I'll let you.
So the picture here is essentially like its own kind of
don't look at my browser history.
Connect. It seems there's no internet connection. Well. You got it on airplane mode, I bet.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we need the interwebs.
Yeah, my bad.
There's the reaction that we're trying to unveil here is on a server somewhere, someplace. Yeah. So, and as it loads up, so we're going to restart this app. Go ahead and open it back up. So this is sorry for the runaround here. Essentially, what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you what I have built for you. The picture I brought is something for you to put out in the physical world. But I created you an NFT I'm going to drop in a wallet for you.
I see the red dot now.
So now it's going to load up an image. So just watch it. Do you see the things loading up on here?
Oh, yeah.
So now if you could explain that to the audience that doesn't have a video here.
Turn your camera around.
Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to see this.
Here, as we'll do it, we'll hold it up here. So what's happening is it's using this as a trigger. There you go. It's using that as a trigger, and the NFT that I created for you, I don't know if you see some imagery there that you recognize, but I did all this hand drawn and hand painted in Photoshop for you. It's actually 8,400 pixels by 8,400 pixels, and it is called Lava Hot for Teacher, and it is your NFT. I'm gonna be dropping this in a wallet, and if you don't have an Ethereum wallet set up today, I'll make sure that happens. So So if you don't own an NFT in about an hour, you will. Awesome. Welcome to the revolution.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man. So what I thought was just a dope picture that you brought is a digital dope picture.
It's got some conversation pieces.
Multi-layered dopeness. So just so the listeners know, I should probably move a little bit closer. The images that pop up are definitely very nostalgic. Growing up, I was a skateboarder. World Industry was one of my skateboard brands of preference. So, what is their little names? Wet Willie?
It was, Wet Willie and Flame Boy, yeah.
And Flame Boy. And that looks like Ren Stimpy.
Yep, Stimpy.
And then a teacher that clearly looks to be wearing some, like Britney Spears-esque type of...
What she got in her hand, It went away, right? It's going to animate back.
The paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... It's funny that you said it's going to bring back some memories, but
it's there.
Yeah, I can tell you this much: that teacher looks a lot hotter than the ones that.
I know. My wife immediately goes, "So who was it?" I was like, "What? The teacher?" No, babe, no.
I got spanked by 4 different teachers there.
I was there since I was 5, dude. That's like I got that in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, actual spanked in actual school. That's the world we lived in.
You know what? You know who laid into me the worst was in 6th grade.
Crandall?
No, Miss Skinner. I think her name was Miss Skinner in 6th grade. Yeah, I knocked a cup off. I deserved it. I was kind of an asshole. I knocked a cup off.
You brought it to yourself, okay?
Yeah.
It's kind of badass. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I look back, and if my kids did that, I would have whooped that.
Yeah, but she was she was ready to lay into me, and she did. She doubled down too. She gave me the double.
Don't you like how they pray with you after though?
Oh, well, it's Lord's work. I'm sorry that I need to do this, but I'm going to hit you twice. It's going to be a 2-turn.
Dude, I got spanked once in that school for actually, doing something creative too. It was like one of those things where it's like that. One of my main themes is like, I will not draw in class. I'll like layer it in my shit sometimes because I really want to like get some, things off my chest. And that was one of the things I got spanked for, paddled. They said they're putting the Board of Education to your seat of knowledge.
Yeah. So walk me through NFTs. So now that this is here, I want to understand, how does it work?
So, I mean, essentially, like for the people that do not know or are hearing all this buzz about NFTs, the very simplest thing I need to basically announce, essentially leading into the art side of it, is that NFTs are not limited to any particular means of medium or physical or non-physical item. A non-fungible token is what it stands for. And the concept of fungibility is something I would have never even been. I didn't know it was a word. I was like, you guys just made up a word.
Yeah, that's what
at the right. I was like, fungibility. No, it turns out it's real life. But the fungibility has to do with the idea that if I give you $1, a dollar bill from, where I got paid for it and, regular interactions and, USD, they call that fiat, obviously. So I'm going to take $1 and I'm going to give you $1. If I get another $1 and I give you another $1, it's worth the same amount and it's got the same representation. It's fungible. Mm-hmm. And there are fungible components in cryptocurrency, which I'm not going to get into crypto as much as, just specifically NFTs. Mm-hmm. The way it's related to NFT is, if you think about it, it's all truly is a digital means of accountability or a digital means of ownership, and it's recorded on a node, essentially on a blockchain, which has to do with many different interactions with many different individuals, as opposed to like me going to Facebook and them authenticating that Brian is who he says he is, or Joe is who he says he is, with an account. That's a central form of communication or a central form of interaction. So decentralization has to do with taking the autonomy, the sovereignty of our representation, whether it be data, whether it be any type of media, and we're taking accountability for it, and we can have ownership rights to it that are put out onto a public ledger that is easily validated by all the different components in a group of computers, essentially, people participating in it. So if that's too complicated, just think of it as a digital form of ownership, right?
Yep.
Now, this particular NFT is on the Ethereum blockchain, and Ethereum is just a cryptocurrency that you would buy, you could buy into it with USD, and the value of it right now, I think, is like 2,700. It's kind of down right now, to be honest. When you look at what that does is if you have that Ethereum, that is a fungible component of Ethereum, whereas this is a protocol that's built into a line of code that makes it so that this has a unique value and a unique set of rules that go into where and how you can interact with this item. Now, anybody can right click and save my image, right? So the right click savers, if you don't obviously find the humor in that, because well, boom, I clicked it, saved it, now I own it. Well, no, it's the same thing as going to the Mona Lisa and taking a picture of it. You don't own the Mona Lisa, right? Like, even if there was a fake version of it sitting out, right? The concept of authenticity is even further perpetuated by the blockchain because it's validated by all the different people. Like, there's 25 or 30 people, I think, that have to validate a node. I'm not quite sure on the Ethereum side of it, but these are the reasons why it's been so prolific, and it's blowing up, obviously, in particular with art, and that's what people associate it with, but it's not with art only. Like, you can make anything in NFT, essentially,
Yeah, so, like, I saw that there was a rap artist, I can't think of the name, what his name was, but in essence, he created an NFT of his album and then sold 1 million NFTs, I guess.
Right, and you could make album. For instance, like in his scenario, it'd just be like doing an artist's. I'm a visual artist, so I'm associated with what I know. A visual edition, like, so you would have it where each limited item is going to be then documented as a copy of in the edition that he ran. And so each exchange that he did that for, he made, obviously, whether it be $1 worth of something. I don't know what blockchain it was on. There's different blockchains you can do it with. So what is going to happen now is that anybody who owns that can now have a digital ownership, almost like a badge, right? So say in the future, he gives a incentive for owning that. So if you have that in your wallet and you go to a show, you could get a free T-shirt or backstage pass. I don't know, whatever he would want to validate that with. Now, whenever anybody sells it, he can also bake into that smart contract, which is what you would build these on. He could bake into the contract some type of a royalty. So that if a secondary sale occurs, he's going to make a percentage of that. Right. If it's 10%, he's making 10 cents. But obviously, if it's more, it's more. So this is how you can actually, you can bring back the value to the art and content creators, as well as maybe a homeowner, maybe a home builder wants to make a long-term investment. Well, but you could, to make an NFT out of a house, you could really bypass a lot of these centralized locations or exchanges that you're doing normal business with, to be able to put into a smart contract the things that sometimes delay over weeks or longer when you have analog systems and processes.
Wow.
Yeah, it breaks your mind if you focus on what you can do, because you literally can do so many things.
Yep.
Now, there's always bad actors in any space, so there's going to be things that are going to be very nefarious. It's out there.
In traditional currency, in traditional art,
yes.
I'm sure there's nefarious acts
right.
that occur.
It's like you can't,
So why Ethereum? Why did you choose that particular?
Now, with Ethereum, I would say that there's a lot of maxis out there, maximalists, and that they're going to have one lane, that they pick, that they go in. I'm not limited. I feel like there's a blockchain agnostic is what I've heard said before. So I can't, Kane Mayfield, that one's for you. So when people say like that they are on a blockchain, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are, only on it, but there are ones that are only on it. Now for me, I'm, just prefacing this where I chose Ethereum for this one because I think the bulk of where I want my visual work to show up has a little bit more exposure on platforms that will make viewable the Ethereum blockchain art. Right. So that's one of the reasons why I chose that. There's some other ones out there that are much more accessible. And I'm telling you, this is changing lives. Like people that are on, like for instance, like Tezos is a blockchain that like people are utilizing for a lot lower fees. So to get this online, for instance, I had to mint it, and to mint it costs money. You're paying what's called a gas fee. You're basically paying a bunch of computers do a bunch of math, right? And this is a big controversy around crypto, which is all that energy that goes into it. Right. So proof of work is going away, which is all the computers doing all the work, whereas proof of stake, holding the actual asset, right, is going to then be something that takes almost like 80% of the energy costs out of it. So it's going to be a lot of happy and smiling, conservation, of the planet kind of mindset, I guess moving into crypto, hopefully sooner than later, based on that.
Yep. So I know for NFTs, aside from this, you have some projects that you're currently working on or have been working on.
Yeah, I'm wearing one actually. As wholesome as it was that we went to a Baptist school, and by the way, I didn't mean to call St. Joe the prison because it's not, and I love St. Joe. I actually to this day still adore that school. I do, however, think that Calvary Baptist was a freaking concentration camp. It was horrid, and the angst level in my art is definitely a direct result of it, I believe. So let me introduce you to the Dare Bears. This is Trippy Bear right here.
Trippy Bear.
Right. So I'm rocking it, and there's all kinds of trippy things like, I hide, there's some, boobies, like on this one. Now, I, of course, put a digital component into pretty much everything I do. You scan that, it goes right to the NFT. So onboarding people has never been easier because, all of these digital environments that you interact with on an internet of, things, or, it's basically alluding to the concept that Web 3.0 is imminent. And my projects that I'm working on right now have never been more easily and readily acceptable with my weird ass art. So,
yeah, no, it's cool. Well, the QR code reminds me, I don't know if you saw this on the back of my phone.
No, what is this?
What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
So just hold your phone over top of mine.
Well, let's try a new thing.
Yeah, this might be like a...
Is yours just still in airplane mode?
No, it shouldn't be. All right, give it a shot.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, now click that. In essence, for me, that's like my little microsite. I actually had... I haven't released the episode yet. It should be coming.
One Tap Connect.
Yeah.
You know how long it took me to find a valid website to steal your logo for this? If I could have just tapped next to your phone,
yeah.
would have found it.
But yeah, I actually had a guest on the other day, like 3 weeks ago, somewhere in there. But he owns this company, One Tap Connect.
No way.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because you can read it via a QR code, or like the tap method.
Now, is it that I just saw an advertisement probably today or yesterday that I'm working on a lot of these things where I'm basically trying to get to that point where I'm making fidgetals, digital and physical combined, which is where this actual hoodie comes into play.
Right.
When you buy, for instance, an NFT, there's what's called redeemables. You could put into the smart contract. The person that buys it gets a free hoodie or something like, or you can make the hoodie part of a redeemable component of it.
Right.
Now that would be something where I'd want to put like the, exactly what you're talking about, like maybe an RFID. I'm working on building that into like the actual fabric itself, because we do our own cut and sew sublimation at Propst and Sons. And when it comes to making these, out of, from scratch, I'm making the digital, making the physical, I'm putting it all together, and then I can sell it through the blockchain on the NFTs that we're making.
Wow.
Yeah. So these Dare Bears are, these are drug-laden, ridiculous, raunchy, and hilarious scenes of awesome sauce, and they are on the blockchain. So
very cool.
These are on Polygon, which is less fees, which is my goal for that, was to make it so that I had a little bit more accessibility to it.
Yeah.
The idea wasn't mine alone. I do have to absolutely give credit where credit is due. I do a lot of projects for people, and one of these commissions was through the Bucket Lust. I had a group of people come to me. I don't want to name names, they don't want me to drop the names, but the actual company is through the Bucket Lust, and they are a group of wonderful unicorns that travel the globe and are from all over the planet, and they are the most epic partiers I have ever met, and they just love to make swag, and I make leggings for them, which happens to be my favorite thing to make in the entire planet now. Right. I only knew that after I started making them for them, and this idea was from them. So the idea was the Dare Bears were brought to me, and it was, they gave me I'm not gonna drop too many more of the ideas, but the Mary J Bear tends to be a favorite, and the Molly Bear, Molly Bear's Molly Bear's just vibing.
Yeah. So where do you see this going? Like, let's say over the next 5 years, how mainstream do you feel NFTs are going to be?
I absolutely,
next 3 to 5.
I believe that right now we are seeing that there's like this bubble with the art side. I think that's going to pop. I'm not because I want it to by any means. I love that I can swim in this pool right now. This is what I feel like designed to draw and paint and be around. But when it comes to the utility of NFTs, I think we are just scraping the surface. I believe, like I mentioned about, for instance, commerce is going to see a lot. Oh my gosh, everything about medical records and industry is going to be affected. You're talking about, the gatekeepers and the security involved with keeping, privacy intact with HIPAA. NFTs are perfect for exchanging and authenticating one's medical records. When it comes to data, there's even companies out there right now who are trying to decentralize the commoditization of our attention that, for instance, Facebook and people such as digital marketers take full advantage of. And by the way, like I'm fully digital marketing, person, of my own, ranks. I'm a peon in comparison, by the way. But when it comes to my understanding of it, the NFTs would then essentially tokenize your batch of data so that you're not just letting, some person, move your data around like a pawn, on some, intergalactic chessboard,
Right. Yeah. Some of the changes that they've even made, like within Facebook and Apple and things like that, these very subtle things are starting to make it difficult for marketers.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's only going to get a little tougher. But the one thing that I have seen is anytime a change happens in the digital landscape that makes it a little bit harder, there's always a solution that's being sold on the back end.
Right.
Like a big one recently was Apple making it so that sites like Facebook couldn't really track you. Before long, Apple's going to have some marketable type of deal where you're going to be buying some sort of advertisement space directly from them, is what I think.
Right, and every single bit of that makes sense. It's like they have to make money where they can make money. If you think about true capitalism, which I know don't need to put a little edge on my perspective per se on that, but I like to think that when people are allowed to make money, they have a lane to make money. That's their job to make that money. It's our job to stand up and say, hey, I'm not the product. Stop using the free things, and you won't have to worry about this. But NFTs introduce a way to manage it for yourself. Whereas you're not saying, hey, I'm not going to participate in society. You're not saying that. You're saying I'm going to participate, but I'm no longer going to be without a voice or a stake in it because now I have tokenized essentially ownership of it. That would be an example of how I think NFTs, particularly NFTs, are going to be imminent. I mean, we are in it. Like, it's already happening. People are adopting it. The big hurdle I see, especially with onboarding, that we would consider it in the crypto world. Onboarding has a lot to do with the barrier of entry with applications. Because right now, to get Ethereum, if I were to say, hey, do you want this NFT? You can't just say yes and I hand it to you.
Right.
There's a couple things we got to do, and it's not daunting, but it is more than people are accustomed to. So it's a little bit more autonomy out there in the world, and you don't have a support, staff to call up when you lose your security keys. Well, you could lose one Bitcoin. That's a hefty amount of cheddar to toss out a window because you can't open a digital wallet essentially with a password.
Yep.
But
all right, I have one question before we land the plane.
Right.
I mentioned the rap artist that NFT'd his album. Me having, let's say, a podcast, like, how could one take a podcast and NFT it to the audience? I don't even know if I'm asking the question right. But
no, actually, it was NFT it is definitely a verb. We'll do that. We'll NFT it. Actually,
let's say
I've used it.
Like Elon Musk, for instance, was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and there was like that infamous, like, it's really what I think really, I mean, Joe Rogan was already big, but that episode on YouTube was like,
I agree. Yeah.
That was explosive. I would imagine that would be something that could be NFT'd, like that moment of.
Yeah. Intellectual property, right? So think about it this way, like once I click this for you, I feel like it'll be pretty easy. It's just a matter of the how or the tech side, which, I mean, I don't know how he's got us like live on these screens up here. And I look at it, I go, oh, this is cool, But like, obviously I know that it's a thing that we could, find somebody that's tech savvy. You have basically a Solidity, code set that you would have to have done. But in the practical side, the tangible sense of basically intellectual property, if you own the rights to this content, you would basically submit this as you can compartmentalize it. You can do clips of it. You can do the entire thing. Mm-hmm. But what happens is that form of media then gets put into a smart contract, gets tokenized, because that data now is stored on the blockchain. So you could do it with like a clip, you could do it with the entire thing. And to be able to monetize that or not, like the NFTs don't have to be monetized. I'm not accepting money for this thing I'm about to give to you,
Sure.
Now, when it comes to monetization, like selling something, you do have to own the rights to things. Otherwise, your ass going to get sued no matter what. Yeah. Infringement is infringement. So whether it's on the blockchain or not.
Yeah, like I couldn't take that clip. I was just referring to of Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh, you can.
Good luck.
It'll get taken down or you'll get sued or whatever,
Yeah.
There's still ways to get, your we call it get wrecked.
Yeah.
You buy the wrong thing. Like it happens all the time. People represent themselves as Joe Rogan selling an NFT out there. You're going to get wrecked. Like my daughter, for instance, like I'm Bryn Parker Propst asked me to tell the world about Bryn because she is an artist and she learned that daddy's going on for an artist. I know your youngest is an artist.
My oldest.
Oldest is.
Likes to draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely working on the skill, but he is venturing more into like animation and things like that have been like what he enjoys doing. A lot of it's just right on his iPad, which is really cool. Like,
It's wild that you can do that right there too. And it's like actual quality work too. You can get really great. I mean, these results are done on a tablet through Photoshop on a computer, digitally painted, you know, like by hand, like with my hand, actually doing every stroke.
Wow.
But at the same time, you know, if I could cut out the whole computer thing and go to the iPad, that's one thing I'm like probably going to be doing pretty soon.
Right.
My daughter's doing, she draws these and designs these dresses and all these different components to the dress. And this leads in, or goes back to your NFT question about the, you know, the episodes. So if you were to imagine like an outfit, right? These like outfits she's making are insane, but she's doing them like without me telling her to, like all these different dresses and all these different shoes and different like hairstyles. And she, Daddy, what do you think about this? And then she comes back to me after I said, wow, that's pretty awesome, Brandon. Great. That, and then she draws it on a computer. This is me designing it. I'm like, she draws a computer like with things. I go, all of this could be nested NFTs. All of those could be NFT components. And then you could put them together and you could sell one NFT of the outfit, right? Yeah. It could be redeemable in the real world for a real thing that looks identical to it. And trust me, I'm making that for her. If she hears this, I hope I'm going to cut this part out. She don't know yet.
Earmuffs.
Yeah. But that's a way that I'm going to, you know, basically, you know, put her art inspired, you know, components on the blockchain, but also in real life. Cause we can, like I said, make apparel here.
Right. So. Very cool. Very cool. Well, Brian, as we're, you know, wrapping up at the end of this episode, I always like to give each guest an opportunity. Two things. Is there any question that you wish I would have asked?
No. I mean, I could talk for another hour with you, bro. Like, I'm sure like we could bring up, you know, any questions, but no. Cool.
And where should everybody go to follow you for your artwork, for your NFT projects?
Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know if everybody did the same thing I did, but I got onto Twitter like back in like, I don't know, 2009 or something like that, and didn't really touch it until I learned that all of crypto is on Twitter. So a good way to find me is to go to twitter.com /410 Mad Propst. And that's PROPST. T's on the end. Like I said at the beginning, no one says the T. If that's too hard to do it, just madpropro.com. And it's funny because on Twitter, by the way, I thought everyone was talking about crypto Twitter. I'm looking for a separate app, you know, like where's crypto Twitter? Where's it at? No, it's just Twitter. And when you start tweeting about crypto stuff, it knows that you want to be in crypto stuff, and then you're on crypto Twitter. So that's where if you were to also want to learn about crypto and NFTs, just start following people that are in NFTs on Twitter, following them on, you know, Clubhouse is a great way to learn. Clubhouse.
Are you on Clubhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, so, we're going to have to connect.
Oh, yeah?
Before you leave, we'll
definitely, yeah. Clubhouse is really great. Spaces is starting to kind of like, you know, lean in and take that whole like, you know, market, you know, I think, but at the same time, I think Clubhouse is a little more, you know, direct to the point. You're going to be in there for a minute and talk about the actual topic. So
very cool. Well, Brian, I appreciate you making the trip over. You're in Pasadena, right? Yeah,
more or less. I live right next to Spalding High School, essentially. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I like basically right there.
Cool. I appreciate you making the trip over. I love the freaking artwork, the NFT. I mean, yeah, I'm blown away.
Yeah,
I
man.
really appreciate it.
I'm gonna set you up with it. I'm gonna airdrop it to you, you know, as soon as we get your wallet set up here.
Cool. That works. Well, Brian, again, thanks for coming on. And as we progress this series, you know, I always invite people back. You know,
dude, yeah, hell yeah.
I think we'll
bring it.
Maybe we'll have like,
and I'll have a day where I don't have wrestling practice to leave for, you know, I got to go to Headhunters wrestling practice with Blake today.
Yeah. But I think maybe a follow-up episode for your NFT projects, you know, hopefully by then I'll have everything all set up for mine.
Exactly.
We'll roll from there.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, man.
Hell yeah. See ya.
You've been listening to the Lava Hut Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business in 2022? Then visit us at golavahot.com for a free marketing analysis.
Get ready, you already know. Let's go.